Ahoy, mate! I'm Captain Mark Stevenson, and I'm so glad that you're here with us today for another episode of From the Wheelhouse. This is where we give the public a eye's view, a bird's eye view of what it's like to be a boat captain. We talk about all types of things, and today we're going to talk about hidden dangers. Yes, those hidden dangers are very, very important when it comes to being a boat captain or simply just renting a boat or driving a boat. Anybody that's on the water needs to be really dialed in and tuned in to this, because I'm telling you like it is, we have a great guest. First of all, I want to step back for a second, and I want to thank Captain Jim Mesco for opening this season. He did the first episode of this season, and he's the best. He's always there that you can depend on him, and he gives some good quality material. So we can't wait till we see Captain Jim Mesco join us again. He's going to be a regular, guest host for sure, and he's going to be able to help us to understand those hidden dangers. You know, when you get ready to drive a boat, you better have yourself in order. That's why I just got off a boat. That's why I have these things here. This is my what we call a PFD, a personal flotation device. And I bet you we're going to have somebody here to explain what is all of this stuff that we carry to make sure that we stay safe. And it's very important that I have this, because Captain Mark doesn't know how to swim very well. That's right, he doesn't. So I want to welcome you again for joining us and taking the time to be part of our show. First of all, there's a couple of things that we have to do for housekeeping. I want you to know that this show is underwritten by Dreamcatchers Incorporated and also by Exceptional Yachts. We want to make sure that you know that. We want to also thank all of the people that help us to put this show together, all of our staff and the engineers and Omari. We just can't thank you enough. You're always there for us. So I need to do some of that housekeeping before we get into that. Let's take a look at a couple of pictures. I want to show you something. I hope that this shows up right here. And if we can do this, this is a picture of my mentor. This is my mentor right here. This is Captain Robert Johnson, Captain Bob Johnson. Now, I can only tell you that when I first got into the business, I needed someone to take me under their wing, and he left us a few years ago, but I can tell you this, without him, I wouldn't be a captain today. Thank you, Captain Bob, and I appreciate this picture being delivered to me. It touches my heart, caught me off guard. There's another picture, and we have a guest today.
The masked captain.
The mask captain? What the heck are you talking about wearing a mask around here?
Well, you know, there's this virus going around. Everyone said you got to wear a mask, so I went out and got this one.
Sir, a mask? You have to have something to cover your nose and mouth. That is not going to do the job.
Well, I didn't know that. They should have been more specific about what kind of mask they want you to wear.
Well, I think that is something that you're doing to explain about hidden dangers.
Hidden dangers. Just like I'm headed. There's hidden dangers out there.
That is right. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to tell you, Captain, that you are going to be very valuable to us in telling us about the many hidden dangers. I want to ask you a question. I went today to deliver a vessel, and I saw this wall as I passed downtown. Man, that wall was long, like a mile long, and it was so low that if it were nighttime or fog, I wouldn't have seen it. What the heck was that?
Well, they call that a break wall because it's designed to do two things: break your boat and break your neck.
No.
Yes.
No,
If you hit it fast enough, a buddy of mine, he's an undertaker. We call him the manly one. But anyways, he's actually taken care of corpses that have been involved in accidents where they hit, and it's that sudden stop. Which when they hang you, that's what they're trying to do, break your neck.
Well, why the heck would they put a wall of concrete out there? And also, I saw something else out there. I saw some sticks sticking up by Navy Pier, on the south side of Navy Pier. It looks like there are some branches, all types of posts and stuff. Man, you can only see the top of them, and if you drove your boat over that, they cut a hole in the bottom. What is that about?
Well, that goes back to World War II and Omaha Beach, where when he was setting up his defenses, General Rommel, they called it Rommel's asparagus. It looked like these metal jigsaw things. So all the time, when the guys came across the beach to interfere with their ability to land, plus they put charges on it so that when they went off, they hit a soldier in the midsection, not necessarily killing them, but then you'd have to send out medics, and then they'd shoot them, and it was it's
the mass captain.
This is what I call Chicago's asparagus, because it is meant there to trap boats, and it's a hidden danger.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a hidden danger.
And it's not lit. And
no, it's not lit.
Most of the time, it's not marked either. So
every year we see boats on this thing. I think they call it Dime Pier.
Yes. You know why it got that name?
No, why?
Because it was a WTF. You know what WTF means, don't you?
I don't curse, so I wouldn't know.
Where's the fish? Anyways.
Where's the fish?
Got to give that credit to Bill. But anyways, this guy bought it, and he would charge people a dime to get on it as a fishing pier, and then charge them $1 to get off. And that's how the Better Business Bureau got started. Clowns like him. Or should say Pendeos.
Oh, God. I remember at the end of that pier used to be a fried shrimp place.
Rockies.
My dad used to take me there when I was a kid.
Yeah. All I can say, you better have a lot of antacid after you eat there.
Wow. Now, there's something else that I saw today. There was a lighthouse with a horn. It sounded like a foghorn that was right at the entrance to the Chicago River. But I thought they don't use lighthouses anymore with all of this GPS stuff.
Well, it served its purpose. It's called Chicago Light, and it was a beacon for mariners coming in so that they wouldn't hit the breakwalls and be able to get into the harbor safely. But do you know some people are trying to buy that? It's up for sale. And there's a organization now, sort of like Friends of the Park, Friends of the Chicago Light. They're trying to build a investment group so that no one gets private control of that.
Wow. Well, I saw in the news.
But that's not a hidden danger. That's.
Well, it's a hidden danger if you run into it.
Yeah.
Now, there's a thing about passengers helping out when it's, everybody wants to be helpful. And when you get ready to dock a boat, especially, and you talk about that, is that something that's appropriate?
Well, there's another hidden danger there. Don't expect your passengers to be crew. I had a buddy of mine, he had a really nice 40-foot formula, and his wife, when I would come down there, she would say, "Oh, I'm glad to see you here." And I said, "Well, why is that?" She said, "Because when you're not, he's always yelling at me because he was expecting her to know what to do."
Yeah.
And he said, "You guys never yell at each other because I always knew what he was trying to do and I knew what I had to do. And so a good mate, you never really have to communicate."
But, I always run into passengers that say, "I know how to catch a line. I've worked on a boat before. I helped with my dad's boat. I helped with my friend's boat. Can I help be your first mate today?"
Another hidden danger. They're liars.
They're damn liars.
I have one friend of mine, no offense.
Drunk liars.
Yeah, we call them Jeff, the destroyer of boats. His name's Jeff Cameron. He means well, but he'll be like one time he nearly blew up my buddy's, $200,000 engine. He untied the line from the dock, and then he just threw it in the water. The guy takes off. He only gets about 100 yards. The line wraps around his prop, starts to seize up the engine. Temperature goes up, and thank God he caught it in time. So that's how Jeffrey got his name, Jeff Cameron, the destroyer of boats. Means well, but not good.
You brought a boat with you. What is that about?
All right, this is how I got my start. And I got
Now wait a minute, Jim. You couldn't fit your you couldn't fit yourself in. What are you talking about?
Well, when I was a younger man, I still had some baby fat on me. But anyways, I got a picture of me when I'm about 12 years old, sitting in an old rowboat like this.
This is amazing. This is well made. Look at this, folks.
I mean, look at this. This is
Wow.
I got this in a estate sale.
Really?
Yeah, and these are the oars. And like some woman at your class the other night asked, how do you drive a twin-engine boat? Well, what I would suggest that she do, easy, don't force it.
All right.
What I would suggest she do is get on a rowboat like this. I can't get that one out. I don't know.
I think it's kind of jammed in there, but that's okay.
Anyways, if she got on a rowboat like this, which is how I learned, which has helped me with twin-engine boats, because let me go one more thing here. Let's see.
I'm going to let him do it because if he breaks it,
You're damn right. Oh well, I can't. But anyways, when you got two oars, you learn how if you do with both, if you do one the other direction.
So-
it's the same way with a twin-engine boat.
some boats have one propeller or one engine, and some boats have two. So we have to drive them a little different, and the captain is trying to explain that to you. But I also know that he told us a story the other night. He taught a wonderful class about hidden dangers, and I want to ask you, when you taught that class, you were talking about using a small boat like this to get your vision to where you are today. Can you talk about the difference between a little boat like that and where you are today?
Because it's a lot like a ladder. You got to start somewhere, and it builds on every rung as you go up the ladder.
That's right.
So you don't start out big and skip the first 5 rungs on the ladder. You're asking for trouble.
Yes.
And the other thing I want to say is this: another hidden danger. It's a slow, arduous climb up that ladder, but it's a quick fall down.
It really is.
So
it really is.
take your time. Don't get over your skis.
What if somebody wants to get into the business, but they don't know where to start? Where would a beginner that is 35 or 40 years old who wants to work on boats, what would they do? Even older. You don't have to be a teenager.
I would say start hanging around the harbors and try to become like a boat cleaner.
There you go.
And that's how you get started, right? With toothbrush and toilet.
I was cleaning toilets with toothbrushes. That's right.
I got started with this, old rowboat that my uncle had, and I still remember it like it happened yesterday. I mean, it's like a lightning bolt tilting it hit me. It was like I was happier than heck just being on that thing by myself, and I see all these wealthy neighbors with the fish traps and all that, and think, wow, maybe someday.
Let me ask you, Mass Captain.
Yeah.
Drinking on a boat is always seems to be part of, boats go with drinking and having fun and stuff, but what do we do when we see one of our passengers going a little bit over the edge? You talk about crowd control and stuff. What do you have to say about that?
Well, an old buddy of mine, J.T. Jane, taught me something. We were at a party, and he was a big-time salesman for IBM, and it was at the Southern Shore, and it started like in the afternoon, and it got to be around like 5 o'clock. It was going to go on to midnight. and he said to me, "This party's going to be wild in about 3 more hours." I go, how do you know that?
How do you know
He
that?
goes, because it's building. He could feel the energy. And I'll never forget, guess what? It was wild. In fact, it was so wild, his girlfriend ran off with me and left him.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So the point is that 80% of the time you can see things developing. And the hidden danger is not to pay attention. Because there's always going to be that 20% that out of the blue, didn't expect it. All right, that's a given.
You taught me something about this. You said something about nothing good happens after
3 hours.
3 hours.
Right.
And we're doing a 4-hour cruise.
Right.
I noticed that during the first hour, they're all happy. The second hour, they're still pounding them down and they're drunk.
They get into that fire water.
Right.
And that one woman impressed me at the school the other night because they said, because the other speakers, 3 guys I mean, they were amazing.
They were.
Former U.S. Coast Guard, retired.
Talking about Captain Bill Russell.
Bill Russell, excellent.
Yes.
I learned things from him that I didn't even know.
And Captain Robert Moore.
Captain Moore did a good job.
Oh, my goodness. Captain Larry Wood.
Just taken out.
Captain Matthew.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They were a good group, but when I got up there, I sort of, talked about the hidden dangers, because they're all talking about how do you get the right license, and how do you tie a knot, and how do you keep your obey the rules. And I was up there, and you can obey all the rules you want, but then the hidden dangers get you. So that one I was talking about, like the playpen, I like affectionately refer to it as Pigpen, and I said that one of the things that makes it dangerous, because I love that story about Bill Russell, that, and if it wasn't true, you wouldn't believe it, but they didn't keep account on the people, and everyone's getting drunk, and they'd leave the boat, and one guy he had drowned.
Yeah.
And they didn't find his body till like a week later.
They didn't even know he was gone.
Yeah, they didn't even know.
How do you do that?
Yeah, where's Joe,
Well, maybe he left.
Yeah, I mean.
But where the hell did he go?
And like Captain Bill Russell, they've nicknamed him Captain Death. Well, these stories he's telling you really happened.
I have to tell you this, Captain. I actually went on a cruise, and I turned around. I looked. I'm constantly counting heads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm counting the amount of heads, and we had just took off and left out of the playpen, and we were going at full speed. And I was missing one guy. I counted again. I'm still missing the same guy. I take a look behind me, and way off in the distance, I see a head bobbing in the water. This guy had dived off the back. I asked, I said, why didn't anybody tell me?
Another hidden danger.
They're drunk.
They're drunk.
They told me he said he could swim to shore himself. And so we let him go. I didn't realize. I turned the boat around. I came back and swooped him up and admonished him. When you get somebody that is a little bit drunk and over the edge, just a little bit, that's the time to stop them and put them in a chair right next to the captain, right?
Yeah. The whole key is if you spot it building, diffuse it before it gets to
There you go.
A flashpoint.
But
I remember that story you told me when you were on the river and a guy had jumped off a bridge and he was going down and you had the throw ring and you threw it to the guy and the guy was going like, I don't want it. Tell him that story.
He came up. I heard a splash, and I thought that somebody may have thrown a big box or something off of the bridge, off State Street Bridge, I think it was. And I took a look again, and someone up at the top said, he jumped. Well, I took my life ring, and I threw it out, and the guy, he came back up. But he just looked at me, and he said, and went back down.
He drowned right in front of
That's right. Do you know the fire department, to their credit, was there in 4 or 5 minutes. They were on the river very close by. So when we put out the call, they came immediately, but it was too late. Right. A few minutes later, they fished him out, and he was all the way gone. So anything can happen there. But you know, back to this drinking thing, you know, we get caught up in the party sometime. We're excited with the party. But can the captain actually become part of the party? Is that a hidden danger?
It is a big hidden danger. It's sort of like being a little bit pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not. You're either the captain or you're part of the party.
I can't join in a little bit?
No, because, you know...
Not one beer? Just one beer?
Well... It's a hidden danger. Hey, wait, I heard a knock. I think that's Captain Mesco came here.
Uh-oh. We'll have to see. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I know you know who this guy was, seated next to me. And I'm going to get him back here in just a second. But I want to show you a picture. You know, I got another picture here on the wall that's leaning on the wall. Please bear with me. But I want you to take a look at this picture. What could that be? That's a police officer standing over a body. And Captain Mesco is from a Blue Star family.
Gold Star.
Oh, excuse me.
Blue Star was a, what do you call it, a parts store.
Okay.
Actually, it was a cat house before it's that.
Oh, my God.
That's another story.
This right here, who is this guy standing here?
Okay, that is my grandfather. And his name is the same as mine. His was James R. Mesco. My dad was James.
This is an old picture, man.
That picture was taken in 1920, and if you notice, he's standing in a discolored floor. Well, that is blood from the crime scene. He was standing over Jim Colosimo, who was a real guy who built the rackets in Chicago, and they were having problems with, they called them the Black Hand. You know, they were basically, just like in The Godfather, shaking down people. Well, they were shaking down the wrong guy. So they, his partner, Johnny Torrio, brought in his nephew, Alphonse Cabone. And they were brought in for one reason, to take care of these, extortionists.
Your grandfather was...
Well, no, the mob took care of it themselves. All those guys were killed within a year.
Wow.
But then they wanted Jim to do some more things. He didn't want to do it. He just got married, blah, blah, blah. He was happy with his operation. So he was killed because he wouldn't want to expand things, especially with prohibition and bootlegging. So...
Wow.
He was gunned down in his establishment right up here at 20th and Michigan, and it was called Colosimo's. And my grandfather was called to the scene. And if you show the next picture here, if you can zoom in on that, but that is poor Jim on the floor. And so when you see here the blood draining out, and over here. My grandfather's standing on it, but yeah.
Oh, my God.
And he was part of a like a tax squad. So here's another picture. I don't know if that one can come to so much.
We can't zoom in today.
But he was part of a special unit. They had Tommy guns, unmarked cars, and all that.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this as we take these off of the screen here. What does this have to do with boating? I know that you are involved with the police department and the Chicago Police Department Marine Unit. What does all this have to do with that?
Well, not so much Marine. I mean, with all the units. I mean, I don't know. I was raised in a police family. My grandfather, he got killed, by the way. They got him, let's see, that was in 1920. They got him 6 years later in 1926. Wow. But, and they would always make it look like an accident. So,
oh, yeah.
Because they didn't want to get into a war with police. But all of a sudden, guys are meeting, someone flew out a window, someone's car got rammed. But the thing about it is the difference between you and I and other captains, especially when our friends, the USCG, Uncle Sam's Confused Group. Anyways, thank you, Bill. Anyways, they as you know, they had this special mission to go after two cities, Miami and Chicago, and
Well,
they had performance quotas. All right.
Well, every organization may have this,
Right.
but I'm going to tell you something. Years ago, when I first got into the business, we all used to run from the police
Right.
department and run from the Coast Guard because we thought that they were punitive in nature. But today we've found out, and this is not just to be fluffing up their hair or anything. Today, we realize that they are regulatory agencies that really want us to be safe. They stop us and search the boat to find out if we have enough life vests, the right radios, are the radios even working? Do we have flares and so forth? So they're trying to keep us safe and alive, and I appreciate them.
But you guys are all running from. They're calling you guys. You guys are like.
We used to.
You're right. And
Now we
they
run
called
to
me.
them.
I said I'll be in there tomorrow morning because you can't run from the police.
And you can't fight them.
Cannot fight.
There's a song that used to be, I fought the law,
And the law won.
and the law won.
And it's a true song. So, my message, which I thought was done very well at your school, if you do things right to begin with, you don't need to be afraid of the police.
Wonderful.
That's why when they call me in,
Yeah.
I'm going like, hey, I got all my license here. What do you want me to
If
do?
you're
Yeah.
doing it right, the right way.
Yeah, but then they say I had toothpicks in their drawer. I said, well, come on.
Tell me this. What do you think about all of these rich people that have just showed up on the lakefront during the last couple of years, buying boats and just opening up a website and going into business, no experience or anything, but they got the money to buy the yachts?
Well, I think Captain Bill Russell did an excellent job explaining about some of those cases, what happened to some of those knuckleheads. I mean, some were looking at jail time. The fines were like $60,000, $70,000. If you think you're going to beat Johnny Law, I wish we could bring these guys back for all these carjackers and all these knuckleheads. Because I'll tell you, they would not last long.
Oh, my God.
But anyways, the bottom line is, as my old grandfather told me, he said, if you don't step into the dog crap on a hot summer day, you don't have to worry about getting it off your shoes. So this all goes back to anticipation, respect the rules, know the rules, don't leave yourself vulnerable. Because the other point that Bill Russell said, man, I mean, I could tell you, I was learning a lot from it. It's stuff that we knew. We knew it had happened, but he came right out and they got subpoenas. Because these people, they think they're clever.
And they had subpoenas for the cell phones, and they checked their text messages.
Yeah, they had subpoenas. It was all, they remind me of my old girlfriend. Why didn't you just tell me the truth?
And it's easy to do this the right way. Grab an ink pen, folks.
Do it the right
If you've just joined us, seated next to me is Captain Jim Mesco. He's the mega yacht captain of Chicago. This guy drives all of the big boats. You see the big, beautiful yachts, these big Hatterases and so forth, the big yachts. Well, guess who's driving them? This guy here. And he's opened doors for me to do the same thing. And he started with this. I started with popsicle sticks, racing them down the gutter with the water hose. And they were popsicle sticks to everyone else, but they were ships to me. Now, I want you to take this vital information, ladies and gentlemen, so that you can get in touch with us, just in case you're interested in getting into the maritime industry. It is our mission to help you to work in the maritime industry, working on boats, working around the water. Do you know there are over 300 different job categories that you can do? If you're interested, make sure that you contact Captain Mark Stevenson at 312-437 312-437-2230. That's 312-437-2230. If you'd like to drop me an email, here's how you can do that. Boatmaster1653 at Gmail. That's Boatmaster1653 at Gmail. You can get in touch with me if you want to ask Captain Jim a question. Make sure that I forward it on to him. We always answer our phones. We always answer our emails. We'll get back to you.
Another thing I'd like to use an analogy about climbing the ladder.
Yes.
What happens if you've got a ladder and like the fire department, it's got 20, what do you call those things? The steps going up the ladder, and you get up to about 12.
Those rungs.
And rungs. And 13 is missing, and you go to step from it, and you fall down. It's quick. The bottom line is, don't make a mistake.
Well,
because you're going to have a hard time making it up the rest of the ladder.
Thinking of ladders, I think about how I took 10 years to go through college to get a 4-year degree in biology. And I remember taking 1 and 2 courses at a time. I'm just saying this because some of you will want to get into this profession, and it's okay to progress slowly. In fact, it's probably better to progress slowly.
That's how I did it.
And as I went through school, when I got tired, when I ran out of money to pay for classes and so forth, I felt like I was on that ladder. And I would take my arm and wrap it around one of the rungs. And I'd take my butt and try and rest a little bit and catch my breath. But you know what was the best thing about it all?
No.
Is that no matter how tired I was or how many times I had to stop, every rung that I climbed on that ladder, nobody could take it from me. No one could take it from me. I had accomplished one step at a time. And you can do it too.
Education isn't cheap. But, try ignorance, find out. But I got one story that you told me a long time ago, which really, really impressed me, about that 1,000-foot freighter captain from the shipmasters, how every day he would step on that big, massive tanker, he would say a little prayer.
Yes.
Today is the day I hope I don't
lose my license.
Because he knew. Remember what I said about that 80-20 rule? It's that 20% that you can't see coming that's still going to come back and bite you in the ass.
Captain Jim, I can't thank you enough for teaching us about so many hidden dangers. There's a lot to learn about this, but it's so much fun. The weather just turned to 70 degrees. I understand that on Saturday is going into the 80s. It's time for boating, folks.
Hey,
it's time to get out here and have some
fun. You know
what
happened last weekend? While you were playing around with the Easter Bunny and the Easter egg hunts, 3 people died out during the lake. 2 on the river.
Right.
Did you see that?
I sure did.
Yeah, boating season is technically not even open yet, and 3 people died Easter weekend.
But we don't know that they were on boats.
No, I don't think they were. I think they, but the bottom is the water is dangerous.
The water will take you in. We got to go now.
But let me finish up this one thing, because that one lady in your class really impressed me. We were talking about...
Her name is Viola Henry.
What makes the playpen so dangerous? People drown, people left behind. And I said, it's the mixture of the string bikinis and the thongs and the guys with the Speedos with the potato in the front, and then they're all getting fired up on fire water and getting crazy. And I said, that's one of the reasons why in a lot of these totally nude clubs, they didn't allow alcohol. these.
That's right.
That lady chimed up in the back. I forget what she
What
said.
club was that?
Yeah, what was called that? And I'm thinking, are you a former entertainer or what the hell?
Look, Captain Jim, thank you so much for
but
joining us.
she
we
made
have
my
to
day.
go.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have to go. This guy, he will never stop. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you want to get in touch with me, make sure you get my phone number, 312-437-2230. Leave a message. I promise I get right back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this show just goes by too fast. We're on every Thursday at 6 p.m. We'll see you next week.
And in spite of all the hidden dangers, it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't have traded 1 minute for it, even though I'm lucky I'm still here.
Until next week, we'll see you then.
Can we invite the masked captain back?
We gotta go. We're already over. We're already over time. Well, we'll see you next week. Mama, get the coffee ready. The kid's on his way.
All right.